All right, so welcome to the initial episode of Bill's Nickel. When I work with other instructors, it's difficult sometimes not to step on each other when you're going through different parts of coursework. So, what we've kind of gotten in the habit of is when we're done giving our shtick or our segment of the class, we'll ask the other person anything else to throw in. And I have a fondness for saying, let me throw a nickel in here, meaning my thoughts, words, wisdom, whatever, on that particular part of the course. So I, in the past, have watched Dave Spalding kind of do the same thing. He has a segment, at least in the past, has had where he'd sit on the back porch with an adult beverage and share his thoughts on whatever topic he wants to share on. I like that. There are times when voice and inflection and facial expressions and hand gestures and whatever just do a better job than putting fingers to keyboard and words to paper. So I'm going to try this. So, my nickel. We are at a point in time that feels tenuous to me. We're 2 days past the Kenosha shooting. Kenosha has exploded because of a shooting of a black man by two white officers, and the town just decided to burn itself up. People went through the streets, destroyed businesses, buildings, whatever. It was bad enough that some people who owned businesses brought in quote unquote militia, whatever that means. People who are willing to stand before a business armed to defend that business so it's not burned to the ground. Huh. In real life, you get crap stuck in your mouth. Sorry. They're doing this because the police department didn't. Think about that. You have a city that's in flame, businesses that are being destroyed, and the city government, for whatever reason, essentially stands down and lets them run rampant. We've seen this in Minneapolis, in Portland, in Seattle, in Baltimore, in LA, in Atlanta, too many places. And I think there's a thought given that the people that are under attack are just going to stand down. They'll just take it. I don't think that's the case. I think people will stand. I think they'll fight for what they've worked for, what they put their entire life into, whether it be their savings or a building they've built and stock they've stocked and a customer base they've developed. They're going to fight for that. And if these governors from states that, for whatever reason, are being lenient on these people don't believe that, I think they're in for a rude awakening. And that's what I want to talk about, the individual, you as an individual. So let's set aside the kid that shot the people in Kenosha. Let's set aside all the other stuff. And I want you to look in the mirror at that person that you see in the mirror, because you have some decisions to make. And I guess I'm just going to lay out what I think they are, and you can go from there. If you read my stuff, you're more than likely a shooter at some point, whether it's competitive, which I am not, whether it's a homeowner that you own a firearm to defend your family and your life, which I am, and that's what I teach, and that's what I promote, or at any other level. The decisions you need to make are kind of now. What are you willing to defend? I would encourage you to defend yourself, of course, your family, your own home, your own business. Past that, I'd really caution you to hop in a car, to not hop in a car, drive across the state line and be part of a quote-unquote militia to defend another town. Honestly, that's not your fight. Your fight is in front of you. It's next to you. It's in the car with you. It's your immediate neighborhood. That I would see as your fight. It might expand to your community. If you're in a small community, have a small police force, and all of a sudden you have a number of very violent people coming in trying to make a statement, you may need to help defend the community. I'm praying that's where this stops. That it isn't the beginning of quote unquote the revolution, whatever the hell that is. I've been in countries that were either in revolution or were left the violent aftermath of such revolution. To use President Trump's term, they're shitholes. They're going to struggle for a long time. The last time we went down that road, it cost us 600,000 people. Estimates that I've seen, if we walk down that path again, 6 million people. We don't want that. We expect our elected officials to do their frickin' job, defend their towns, defend their counties, defend their states, hold people accountable to the law that a legislature has passed. If they choose not to do that, replace them at the ballot box. If you replace them at the ballot box and the new people refuse, or they get reelected and they refuse to hold people accountable to the law, you may get to the point where you need to defend yourself, your family, your neighbor, your business, your community. I'm all in on that. Past that, let's keep our heads, okay? Let's keep our heads. In that vein, then, a couple suggestions. Carry every day. Honest to goodness, folks, carry every day. If you're accosted in your car, if you're accosted in a business, you aren't going to be able to go out front and say, raise your hand and say, hang on a minute, I need to go home and get my gun. That's not how it works. Carry every day. You need to practice. I'm praying you've gotten training. If you haven't gotten any kind of training and you've just bought your first gun, find some people that offer training in your area and get some. There's more to it than having a piece of paper that says you have a carry permit. Can you run the gun? Can you hit what you aim at? Can you move? Can you reload it under pressure? All of those things you're not going to have time to learn if the wolf is at the door, whatever metaphor you want to use. It's too late then. I think time's growing shorter in some areas. I'm in the Midwest. I think we're pretty stable here, but at the same time, I consider Kenosha Midwest. And I'm sitting here 2 days on from their little episode, which is still ongoing, still shaking my head. Once you get the training, you need to go to the range and practice. I know ammo is tight. I get it. Dry fire then. Work with your holster. Work with your stances. Work with movement. But you need to practice what you've been trained on. You need to be diligent. When I say carry, I mean carry. I use what's called the pogo method. Pants on, pants up, gun on. Pants off, gun off. When you put your pants on, put your gun on. When you take your pants off, take your gun off. Leave it in the frickin' holster and store that near your bed, just in case. You need to talk with like-minded people in your area. You may not be able to handle things on your own. Develop a relationship with your town's police department. Develop a relationship with your county sheriff's department. Let them know who you are. Let them know ask them if they offer any training. Most don't. Some do, and some have folks that they'll recommend. Listen to what they have to say. Bottom line for your local police department, support the hell out of them, because they're standing between you and some asshat rolling down the road with a Molotov cocktail just looking to burn something. Those are the guys, those are the gals that are going to climb in their squad and come help you. That said, that can be a long time. 10 minutes, 20 minutes. If you live in a rural county, could be a half hour, 45 minutes. You need to understand at a really, really deep level. The person you see in the mirror every morning when you shave and brush your teeth, that's your first responder. So you need to know how to run your gun. You need to know how to engage a threat. You need to know how to patch holes. If you get in a two-way conversation with lead, holes are going to be made. There's a picture in the Kenosha shooting of the one fellow who survived that has about half of the meat in his elbow joint missing, and above it is a tourniquet. That would be enough to save his life. Can you do that? If you can't, find a local course and get training. And I mean a local, hands-on, put the frickin' tourniquet on course, not I'll watch a quick YouTube video. I think things are going to go in this fashion until the local communities have had enough, plant their feet, and say hell no. A lot of these police departments, major metropolitan police departments, like Portland, like Seattle, like Chicago, like New York City, should already be on the bandwagon and cracking down, and they're not. That sends a horrible message. We're coming up on the Orange Man Bad election. November 3rd is the election day. I have no idea what's going to happen between now and then. I have a sense it's not going to get better. I'm praying it's not going to get worse. But what happens in your family, how your family is defended, how your neighbors are defended, how your community's defended, that is due in some part to the person you see in the mirror. So basic bottom line, get your shit together. Make sure you have what you need to defend yourself. If you have time, practice. And I'm not saying blowing through all your ammunition, but you could go do a half a box a couple times, once a week, half box once a week, and just shake the dust off. Because you won't have time later if this continues. You'll simply have time to respawn. And that's the wrong end of the formula to be on. You need to be driving it, not responding to it. Anyway, that's my nickel. Get off your ass, get to the range, carry your gun, do good work, defend yourself, defend your family, defend your neighbor. And we'll see if we can't get through this together. Thanks much. We'll do some more of these Bills Nickels. I've got some ideas, which I'm sure is a shock to no one who knows me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.